In this video, I will show you how to export a layout so that you can draw or create your own image in a separate program and then bring it back into Blender and map it onto your object. If you do not have your layout set up like this, how it's shown here, you need to watch the previous video called UV Mapping Setup to get it to this point. Once you have it looking like this, all you need to do is go down here to UVs and at the very top export UV layout. And then it brings you to your files menu, so you need to navigate to your 3D graphics folder and save it as an image. All this is doing is saving that layout here as an image so that when we unwrap it, it unwraps it exactly what the size of our cube is or whatever object we're unwrapping, and then we export that as an image. So let me go back. It wants you to export it as a PNG. It's got the dimensions and things here. We could change that if we wanted to. But click here and you would name it something like UV Layout 1 because you might do several of them. And then export UV Layout. Make sure it's in the right folder. And then you navigate to that folder and open that image with Photoshop or another editing program. And once you get it in there, you can bring in, you can either draw an image onto it or bring in other images, and it gives you the layout of it. And so you just draw right on there so you know exactly where they're going on the cube when you bring it back in. So let me give you an example of bringing it back in. If you go to your Materials tab and make sure you're in Cycles Render, if it says Use Nodes, always click that. Now my cube right now is just white. And if I want to change that, I don't want it white, I want it to have a map of the picture that I'm going to bring in. So I'm going to click right here next to the white color, this little dot, and go to Image Texture. That way I can open into my files and go find that image texture that I saved. So after I bring it into Photoshop or another editing program and make an image out of it, I save that as a PNG or a JPEG, and then I go get it. I've already got one here as an example. So I'll just double click on it, and it takes a minute, but it comes in and then it sets it right here. If I do a preview, it's got my image right there. To get it in here, if you want to make adjustments, you just come down here, click this guy right here, and it should be sitting there. And I zoom out and it's on there just how I drew it up in Photoshop. It's mapped perfectly. Now I just render it or change this to material and I can see it really well. If I zoom in to see it real well, to take a screenshot of it, I can deselect it by hitting A on the keyboard. That way I can see all the sides really well. And so you would take a screenshot of 3 sides and then turn it around to the other 3 ones on the bottom, take another screenshot. That way I can see that you've mapped it properly.